Welcome to the first episode of the Smart Gamble. I'm Norm Sullivan, joined by Lily and CJ. Getting it started here, making some picks, fantasy-wise, gambling-wise, entertainment. It's going to be a lot of that going on here. We'll get through what this entails, what it offers, what we're going to be doing. I guess we'll introduce everyone. Lily, the real star of the show here.
Thank you, Norm.
Lily, tell us why we're even doing this.
Okay, why we're doing this is because I am in a pool run by CJ, and my mom said to me one day, Lynn, you pick so well, you should be on the radio or on TV or whatever. So I started thinking, okay, I know the general manager of WSBG, local radio station here in the Poconos.
Yep.
And I know some on-air personalities. I said, yeah, I could actually do this. So I had a meeting with Pat, the general manager at WSBG, and he was all for it. He was like, you got to do this. Norm's a great person to do it with. And then I wanted to pull CJ in too. So that's how it came about. And now we're basically betting consultants.
Right. Absolutely. You can come to us for betting consultant from Lily. She's going to be giving out a pick here on the podcast and video. We're going to have kind of an audio and video kind of deal, and I'll try and give some fantasy advice the best as I can. But talk about your record, Lily. That's why we're really here.
Yeah, so I am basically beating all the so-called experts, except maybe one. So all I have to say to all of you is suck it.
We don't need to worry about the one either. We don't have to worry about him.
There you go.
So that's, I'm doing really well. CJ's doing really well in the pool too.
Right. And CJ, well, I can't wait to hear CJ's aspect of the show coming up here.
Well, guys, I am a football-loving, music-loving guy from Brooklyn who now lives in Las Vegas. I've been running pools for about 25 years now, and I'm doing great so far this year. And maybe I'm lucky, maybe there's something else going on, but I just love the whole entertainment aspect of football, entertainment aspect of life in general. You know, don't take yourself too seriously, have a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I'm all about. You know, I just love this thing, and I'm really glad that you guys gave me the opportunity to kind of be a part of this, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah. That's CJ the piano man.
The piano
from
man.
Vegas, our Vegas connection.
Right. And I think that's CJ nailed it. We're not going to take the picks are going to be serious. This is the Smart Gamble. Like, we're going to be giving out good picks. I at least know these two are. We'll see how I can do with the fantasy. But I mean,
you're in how many?
My own league.
You're in how many pools, Norm?
What's that?
Norm, you're in how many pools are you in?
I am in 6 fantasy leagues, 2 that I run myself, all different variations. I run a dynasty league. I'm in keeper leagues. I'm in redraft leagues. So I feel like I can give at least some sort of input that will help someone, because fantasy is everyone's league is different. Rules are different, all that. But hopefully I can help you out with a couple things. And that's one thing too, is we're going to try and help you out, but we want to hear from you too. So we've got an email address, smartgamble@gmail.com.
The
smartgamble@gmail.com. We'll get that right in the future weeks. First one here.
We're getting there.
Smartgamble.com. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hopefully there's not too many concerns. If you have...
Hopefully no insults. All compliments.
There you go.
And hopefully we can get you, some advice for your fantasy. If you've got a couple players that you're deciding behind, I'll try and help you out with that. And of course, we'll let you know how we can get you the rest of Lily's picks, because I mean, we've been following just for a couple of weeks now. She's nailing it, and if you're betting all her picks, you're making money. So we're only going to give one away here on the podcast. But if you want the rest, we'll let you know how to find those. How did you do between the Broncos and Browns, though? Let's get into the Thursday night's game.
CJ knows I lost in my pool.
Okay.
I took Cleveland to cover at home against Denver.
Now, they did end up winning. But that's a tough situation to cover, and they probably should have. They're the better team. Just
I
they're
lost
so
by half a
damn
point.
banged up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That game, I told my crew, the folks that I were in my pool, that I hated that game. It smelled like crap.
Right.
Just from the very beginning. Cleveland's banged up. The Baker Mayfield is just simply wasn't playing. Obviously, he was hurt.
Yep.
And Denver, I just can't trust them. I don't think they can score enough points really to do anything of any
No.
worth. So I said, okay, well, let me hold my nose and let me take that hook, that 3.5 points.
Right.
If it was anything less than that, I would have taken Cleveland to cover. But the hook maybe go with Denver, and I got lucky, of course, and they lost by 3. So
Right.
again, terrible game. I would never have bet in Vegas, but I took it in my pool and I got lucky.
Yeah, I mean that you nailed it. It was a stinker game that got nailed by the hook, and Baker didn't play. The Browns, I think we got to give credit to the Browns. They didn't cover, but backup quarterback, third string running back, Jarvis Landry comes back for the first time. Odell Beckham's barely even showing up. I mean, and they still won the game, but good teams win, great teams cover, and they didn't cover. So
There you go.
I guess we'll switch. We'll get into week 7 Sunday slate with the picks. But speaking of the third string running back for the Browns, I'll jump into some fantasy talk here real quick about that guy. Dearness Johnson had a hell of a game.
Yes.
I can't believe I started him in 2 leagues. I picked him up. And he exceeded what I thought he was going to do. And to give advice, obviously the game already happened. You know, I would have told you to start him. If he's still available, though, go pick him up, because Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they're still banged up. I believe Kareem Hunt might be coming back, but this is a guy I think will be getting touches going forward, at least in the next 2 or 3 weeks until the backfield is healthy. Other pickups I think you should look at for this week: Devontae Freeman, decent matchup against the Bengals coming up. Obviously, he's filling in with Latavius Murray now out for the Ravens. You guys have any other questions for me fantasy-wise? I guess
I do. I got some good questions for you. All right, first one. What players should people look for on their waiver wire this week?
Right, so to jump into a couple other ones. The Giants, I know you want to avoid them, and I'm a Giants fan. Just for full clarity
Full
here,
closure.
I am a Giants fan. They've been horrendous this season, but they don't have to win for your players to put up fantasy points. And I think Devontae Booker and Dante Pettis are worth picking up this week just because of volume alone. They're going to get touches just because Sterling Shepard is banged up. Darius Slayton is banged up. Kadarius Toney is banged up. Obviously, now Saquon is going to be missing a second straight game. These are guys that, with the amount of bye weeks that we have this week and a bunch of big players out, I think these are 2 guys that if you're struggling at either running back or wide receiver, just based on hopefully they get touches and targets, are worth picking up. Another guy, Khalil Herbert, had a great game in his debut, not debut, but at his first starting game as a rookie against the Packers. I know Damian Williams possibly coming back now. We'll know more about that actually later today if he's cleared off the COVID list. But if you watched him last week, I think this guy's better than Damian Williams. And even when David Montgomery comes back, this guy should be getting touches. This is a guy that you want to stash on your fantasy rosters if he's still available. Probably wasn't drafted in your league unless you're in a deep league. I would pick him up. And then, we're kind of doing this late. Waiver wire is kind of tough to do on a Saturday. But guys to pick up maybe for next week, get ahead of the schedule when everyone's trying to pick him up next week and they go, why does this guy already have him? Trey Lance, if he's still available in your league. I know that Jimmy Garoppolo is coming back and starting. I don't think that's going to last long. Even though he's healthy and he's said to be the starter, if you watch Trey Lance, this guy, you actually look, the most fantasy points per drop back for quarterbacks in the league. Obviously, small sample size. Doesn't have as many as the other quarterbacks. But this guy will eventually start in this season, and he will be worth having on your team, I think, going forward. Rough debut. I think he's talented, though.
Yeah, this is a tough week with some big names on buys,
Really
such
is.
as Minnesota, Dallas, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and the Chargers. So who are some of the
Chargers.
value players to start this week, Norm?
Right. So with those guys out, you mentioned the Chargers are a great team with a lot of fancy relevant players. With them out, it's kind of tough. So if you're missing Justin Herbert, I think Ryan Tannehill is a decent value start. If we're going like daily fantasy, he's a decent matchup. He's been kind of up and down this season, but Kansas City, we know all about their offense, but they've been letting up points this season. So I think Ryan Tannehill is worth getting a start. Also, because I think they got to give Derrick Henry a rest. He's on pace for over 500 touches this season. Let Tannehill take a game over when they've got a susceptible secondary to throw against with Kansas City. I don't know. This guy definitely is going to be available in your league, but maybe daily fantasy. Cordero Patterson, I feel like, is a just must start, must play almost every week. This dude has been a revelation for the Falcons this year. And Miami, I mean, Miami has been a good defense to play against, especially for running backs. So definitely look at Cordell Patterson. And this one, Antonio Gibson may or may not play. Sounds like he's going to. Even if he does, look at J.D. McKissick. Dude is going to get touches out of the backfield. He had 10 grabs last week. 8 grabs last week. I think he will be involved in the offense, whether Gibson plays or not. I think he's another one that might even be available in your season-long leagues, but I think he's a great value in daily fantasy.
So one quick question from me. This seems to be the year of like running backs going down. A lot of running backs have been injured this year. Look at the Baltimore Ravens and so forth. And they have like probably everybody they've ever signed at running back go down this year. But my thoughts are for the running backs of the Seattle Seahawks, DJ Dallas, Travis Homer. What are your thoughts on those guys as far as diamonds in the rough type players that can fill in on a roster in a given week?
Right. DJ Dallas is a guy that I loved coming out of college and loved him last year. He didn't look like he got to the NFL speed yet though. But now that we have some more injuries, got Alex Collins involved in there as well. I would love taking a shot. If you're in a season long, grab one of them, because similar to the Baltimore situation, I can tell you, obviously a lot of injuries happening when leagues were drafting there. And I suffered from, Gus Edwards is now the starting running back. Let me draft him in a whole bunch of leagues because everyone might have not scratched him off their cheat sheet, or he's still way down because they didn't print out an updated one. And then he goes down with a torn ACL. So it's been running back by rotation there the entire season. And I feel like it changes every week. And it did again this week with Latavius Murray going down. I think we might be seeing a similar situation in Seattle. So grab any of them that are available, I think, and if you can in a season long, or if you're looking for a shot. I think DJ Dallas might be worth it just because, we've seen we've seen running backs kind of pick up the speed in a second year. Look at Jonathan Taylor. I mean, second year now, I think he's figured it out. So I think maybe he might be worth a value play in a daily fantasy, but I would grab anyone that you can in a season long and just see which one kind of picks up and maybe gets the touches, and maybe you'd strike gold with one of them.
So what studs should we maybe be avoiding due to the matchup this week?
It's funny I just mentioned Jonathan Taylor because he's been absolutely on fire and had a phenomenal game last week. But I think this might be a week. I'm not saying sit him in your season long, but I don't think he would be a daily fantasy play this week. San Francisco's got a great defense, and I think, he's almost due for a bad game. So maybe expect a little less from him in your season long, and I wouldn't pay. I'm not actually sure what he's costing this week in daily fantasy. I should look that one up. But I don't think he'll be worth the high price tag on that one. And on a similar note, Cooper Kupp, again, not sitting him in your season long, but phenomenal season so far. I just don't think the volume's going to be there this week against Detroit. They're going to get up the Rams on the Lions, and they're going to be running the ball. Darrell Henderson might be worth starting. at running back just because of the volume there. I don't believe we're going to see a typical 2021 Cooper Kupp game this week, though, against the Detroit Lions.
And so who is your lock of the week? Who is your pick of the week that you see having a
Right.
big game on Sunday?
Like the lock, and we're gonna have a lot of locks coming up on the show. This one, take with a grain of salt. I like the confidence in these twos, but for this one, I'm going pure. I love these kind of games. DeAndre Hopkins gets to play the Texans.
Revenge.
And if you know his exit out of Houston there, and a lot of players exit out of Houston there, I think DeAndre Hopkins has a blow-up game against Houston. He's been phenomenal. He's arguably, in my opinion, he's the best wide receiver in the league. And I think the motivation going in against his former team that had a kind of rocky exit, not only will he be extra motivated, I think even Kyler Murray. You look at the Cardinals, who, speaking of gambling, I know I won't be giving too many gambling picks, but I will say, just throw this out there on the first episode. I took one team Super Bowl odds before the season started to win the Super Bowl, and it was the Arizona Cardinals. I'm feeling pretty happy about that right now. That team looks that team looks confident. They look like they're having fun playing together. They look like a tight-knit group, and that's why I think even Kyler Murray will be looking to get the ball in Hopkins' hands. That's why he's my lock of the week to have maybe the biggest game of a wide receiver in Week 7.
Okay. Yeah. So again, you could reach out to us at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. Next, we're going to do Hayden's pick of the week. That is my cat. Yes, I'm going up against my cat. I'm a crazy woman.
This is my most look forward to
right now. Otherwise, I would show you him. But the way that I do it is I write up all the games, and then I put it by his tail, and I say the game. So he picked the Carolina Giant game, and his tail went to Carolina. So he's picking Carolina this week.
Smart cat.
So,
Yes,
so
my
the
buddy-
cat picked the Panthers, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I
And
see there's a little feline loyalty going on.
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Hayden's pick of the week is Carolina. My buddy Michael at my country club, he's my Giants connection. He told me if the odds are greater than 3 points, go with the Giants. If not, go with Carolina.
Okay.
That's what he told me. Yep.
Okay. All right.
He's my Giants connection.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done backing, rooting. Even the Giants are miserable. So I think I think you got a winner there, Hayden.
Well, think about it though. I mean, between the Giants and the Jets, you probably have the two worst teams in the league playing in the same city, playing in the same stadium. So it's absolutely crazy what's going on in New York these days. They have to get those teams together. I'm not quite sure what's happening there, but
I know
Yes,
this is
I
a
get it.
football centric show, but I think we can all just take a step back and look. And last night they were killing it. How are the Knicks the best team in New York?
geez. For a long time, I thought the Knicks, I mean, I kind of had a bag over my head for the past 20 years rooting for
Yep.
that team. They finally figured some things out. So, hey, go Knicks. Let's figure out
Right.
this whole thing.
Giants and Jets. It's a miserable time to and you know what? And we're here in the Poconos, are we not? And we have a lot of New York and Philadelphia transplants.
Yes.
It ain't going great for
I'm
anyone.
one of them. And you know, CJ and I are Jet fans, so
Yes, long-suffering Jet fans. It's
Yes.
been a lot of years.
it's been a lot of years. Yep. So, okay, we are ready to do our movie line of the week, and we're going to give away a $25 gift card randomly. So you email us at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. And here is the line. Ready? La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la. What movie is that line from?
There you go.
Send us an email.
Send
and
us
we'll
an
give you-
email, thesmartgamble.com. Name the movie that quote is from. Give it to us one more time, Lily.
La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la.
Name the movie. You got a chance at a $25 gift certificate.
Yep. Okay, so CJ, we are ready for you. Our Las Vegas connection.
All right.
Who you like? Who's your lock of the week?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I looked at that Carolina Giants game, and that might be the easiest game on the board to pick. I think the Giants are just a mess right now. The coach is under fire. I mean, on
So
top of
many
that, the
injuries.
players are hurt, the injuries there, and I think the fans are really getting on that team. So it makes it harder for you to actually function as a team when you're playing in front of your home fans. So I think Carolina over the Giants is absolute. Bet your house, bet your wife, bet your whatever you have, bet it. Take the Carolina Panthers. How's that sound? Am I making myself clear enough on that one?
Absolutely.
Bet the wife, it's like a win-win. You lose or you
Hey,
win money. It's
there you
like-
go. There you go.
I love it. I love it. All right, so I think now the real segment we've all been waiting for. Time to get lucky with Lily.
Okay, thanks, Norm. Yeah, I'm actually going to be very generous because it is our first podcast, so I am going to give 2 picks,
Oh,
and they are both 4-2 teams. Okay, we're looking at Tennessee and Cincinnati. I like both of them to cover. Tennessee may even win outright,
wow.
but I like both of
Wow.
them to cover for sure. Those are my 2 locks of the week.
Okay,
I like it. It's gutsy.
that's
like
it.
that's
It is.
you know what? But the Chiefs this year have shown they're susceptible. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tennessee. I had Tennessee last week in the pool, and I had Jacksonville last week in the pool. Those were really great upsets. Those were tremendous games.
right, they won outright as an underdog last week. That's right. You did have that on Monday Night Football. That's correct.
Yep. Yep.
And I think with the was it the Bengals the other lock of the week? Was it the Bengals?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way Joe Burrow is coming along in Cincinnati. I think he
Oh,
is the real deal. He's coming
He
off
is.
that injury from last year. He has the trust of his players. He's a leader. I love the way that guy plays. So I think that's a good pick as well. Cincinnati, I think they're kind of making their way in that NFC North division there.
I remember
Yeah.
everyone screaming about Jamar Chase in the preseason because he dropped a couple passes. And
Yep.
how can you waste a number 5 pick on this guy? But we all saw Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase at LSU do what they did. And I think that connection's working out for Cincinnati just fine. He's the biggest deep threat receiver in the league now, only 6 games into his career. I think I'm all for the Cincinnati Bengals. They've been one of my favorite teams to watch this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Me too. Me too. So absolutely, we want to just plug our email address again, thesmartgamble@gmail.com. And let's wrap it up, Norm.
Yeah, right. The smartgamble at gmail.com. Any questions about what we're doing here? If you want to get more picks from Lily besides she gave out 2 this week. But if
Hey.
you want the rest of the slate, email the smartgamble at gmail.com. If you have any fantasy questions for next week, for this week, same reach out right there. And of course, for the movie quote, that's how you're going to try and win your gift certificate right there. Look for this podcast / video to be dropped every Saturday, hopefully on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. We'll have the audio versions, and hopefully to release it every week. And can't wait to hear from you all.
Yeah. Thanks for
Right.
joining us, Will.
And good luck.
Yeah, for CJ, for
Yep.
Lily, I'm Norm. We'll talk to you next week, and hopefully you guys win some money on Sunday.